Into this thinking, I was going to answer one simple question. Where did the money actually go? But the deeper I looked, the more I realized that this isn't just about money. It's about a pattern. And once you see this pattern, you can't unsee it. Because what looks like random support starts to look very intentional. Now, most people think this story is very simple, but they only have part of the story correct. Most viewers understand that Jenny Appleford courageously documented her cancer journey from diagnosis to her final days, creating a deeply personal video diary for her children, her family, and the community she built online. They understand that through raw, honest storytelling, Jenny allowed viewers to witness both the physical and emotional realities of her experience, turning her platform into a space of connection, support, and shared grief. And the audience also understands that during this time, financial support from her audience played a critical role. Platforms like GoFundMe, YouTube, and PayPal helped cover medical expenses, daily living needs, and allowed her family to focus on care and time together during an incredibly difficult period. There was a massive community response that rallied behind her husband Kyle Appleford, and their children when it mattered the most. But most people don't understand the financial reality that is behind the Apple's YouTube channel. They think GoFundMe, YouTube, donations, and that's it. But that's only part of the story. Because when you actually start tracking everything, not just what's visible, but what's happening behind the scenes, well, you start to see something else. A system. The more specific the need, the stronger the response. When the message is urgent, people respond. When it is emotional, people respond more. And when it is personal, the response doesn't just increase, it spikes. So the real question isn't just what people gave. It's this: what happened before they gave? Phase 1 was survival. Treatment, uncertainty, and staying alive. The need was clear, and the message was specific. And the response was immediate. Then came grief, loss, shock, trying to understand the unimaginable. The message shifted from surviving to honoring. And again, the response followed. Then came stability, maintaining life, moving forward, creating a new normal. The urgency lowered, but the emotional connection remained the same. And the support didn't stop. And then transition, a new direction, a new focus, a new future. But here's where things change. It didn't stop. It adapted. This is not about attacking anyone. This is about observing patterns. Patterns that are based on publicly available information. What you've seen today is just the beginning. Over the next week, I'm going to be releasing a series of videos that take a much deeper look at something I did not expect to find. I started researching this story. At first, I thought I was just going to answer one simple question. But the more I looked, the more it started to feel like there was a pattern. Not just in what was said, but when it was said and how it was said. And what seemed to happen after. So this series is going to break that down step by step. We're going to walk through the full timeline, starting from the earliest days of Jenny's diagnosis, where the focus was entirely on survival, treatment, and getting through each day. And we'll look at how the community showed up to support Jenny and the family during that time, through YouTube, through GoFundMe, and through direct support, and what that support made possible for the family during those most critical moments. Then we're going to move forward into the months after, into the shifts that happened, not just in content, but in messaging, tone, and focus. We're going to look at how support evolved, how the reasons for that support changed, and how the community responded at each stage. We'll also be taking a closer look at the different forms of support that came in, some visible, some less visible, and how they may have interacted with each other over time. Not just donations, but views, engagement, and platform tools, and other forms of support that aren't always talked about openly. And here's where things start to stand out for me. When you line all of this up, the timing, the messaging, the responses, you start to see relationships between them. Moments where certain kinds of content seem to generate stronger reactions. Moments where the way something is framed seems to interact with what happens next. And moments where things don't follow the pattern that you would seem to suspect they would. We're going to look at all of that carefully and clearly, because this series is not about attacking anyone, and it's not about speculation, and it's not about telling people what to think. It's about observing patterns and asking questions, and it's about putting information in one place so you can decide what you see for yourself. Each video in this series is going to focus on a specific piece of the puzzle. From the early support phase to the transition phase to the current and hotly debated direction of the channel. We're going to break down what we know, what we can verify, and what still raises questions. And let me tell you, there is a lot under the tip of this iceberg. And by the end of it all, you're going to have a much clearer picture of how the ecosystem that has become the Apple's channel actually works. Because this isn't just one moment. No, it's a progression. And understanding that progression is going to change how you see everything. You won't want to miss this series, so make sure that you're subscribed and keep an eye out over the next few days, because the next video is where we start putting the pieces together. I analyzed every major moment of this channel, the views, the spikes, and the money behind it. And what it reveals is a pattern that most people never notice. Because this isn't just about loss, it's about how people respond when the moment feels much bigger than them. I went through the data, video by video, from the moment everything changed to the highest spikes in engagement. And by the end of this video, I'm going to show you the 3 highest earning moments on this channel. grief, reaction, sympathy, and alignment. 4 different emotions that drive 4 very different types of support. Once you see how they connect, you start to understand something much bigger. This isn't random. There are moments on YouTube that feel bigger than a video. Moments where people don't just watch, they feel something. They show up and they support, and sometimes they give. And in those moments, it can feel like a community coming together. Like something real is happening on the other side of the screen. But I started asking a question that I couldn't ignore. What actually happens in those moments behind the scenes? Because when I stepped back and looked at everything over time, I didn't just see support. I saw a pattern. And it wasn't just what people gave. It was how many different ways they were being asked to. Not just one button, but layers. Super thanks, super chats, ads running on the videos, links in the description, pinned donation pages, external platforms, all happening at the exact same moments emotions were at their highest. This wasn't just a YouTube channel anymore. It was a multi-layered funding system built around moments people cared about the most. This analysis is based upon publicly available data, reasonable estimates. It is not a statement of exact earnings nor intent. Some videos on the Apple's channel didn't just perform better, they converted. This right here is the entire story. At the beginning, you see a massive spike. This is a period of time immediately before Jenny's passing, and it also includes her passing and the weeks and months immediately following. That's the initial event in the spike, and then it drops. Not because people stopped watching, but because the moment passed. Then you see smaller spikes, milestones, anniversaries. Then something changes. You see another rise, and after that, everything settles. Which means this wasn't steady growth. It was event-driven behavior. One video can have millions of views and make less than a live stream with a fraction of that audience. And that's when I realized that views weren't really the driver. Emotion was. But everything that I just showed you is actually the simple part. Because what happens next is actually where the pattern changes. Early support was driven by grief on the Apple's channel. Later, it became validation. And at some point, giving shifts from emotion to alignment. Now, let's talk about AdSense. AdSense is how creators such as Kyle Appleford make money on YouTube from advertisements. Creators are paid per 1,000 monetized views, and this is called RPM. RPM varies based on watch time, audience, and ad placements. Data updated at the time of this video indicate that the channel has nearly 67 million views with a subscriber count of 200,000 with 532 videos uploaded. This 66.81 million figure reflects a cumulative total across the channel's 10-year history, with the most viral videos focused on Jenny's health journey still driving the bulk of the evergreen traffic. And a conservative RPM value between $3 and $5.50 bring the Apple's channel total estimated AdSense earnings between $200,000 and $367,000. Super Thanks contributes approximately $45,000 more. This figure does not include the GoFundMe, the direct donations through PayPal, the Amazon wishlist value items, and the P.O. Box items valuation. So, between just those two legs of the Apple YouTube channel turned business venture, we have a total of $412,000 total estimated revenue. The total Apple channel ecosystem actually surpasses $700,000. This is not just one simple revenue stream. This is a system. But the real question is, where did the most money actually come from? Number 1, Jenny's Service live stream. This live stream had approximately 512,000 views with an estimated revenue between $25,000 and $35,000. Number 2, we lost our beautiful Jenny's passing announcement video. This video had a whopping approximate 3.2 million views with an estimated revenue between $18,000 and $25,000 plus. And last, Jenny's final hospital update and passing announcement update videos were estimated between $3,000 and $5,000 plus. This group of videos had more than 2 million views. And now we take a look at the transition era. 212,000 people tuned in to watch Kyle Appleford's 1 Year Without Jenny video, and that amounted to $1,050 in Super Thanks. And then something changed. Not a milestone, not grief, but controversy. Nearly 200,000 people tuned in when Kyle announced his big reveal of being in a new relationship back in October 2025. He received a very emotional reaction, which then led to a financial reaction, nearly $1,000 in his pocket, as defensive tipping was triggered by viewers. And who could forget the proposal photos? Approximately 111,000 people tuned in for the proposal photos. And that video alone received a revenue of approximately $1,200. And then something even more subtle happened. Not grief, not controversy, something else. In January, Kyle had a personal branding pivot. He came out with his I Have Changed video, and over 68,000 people tuned in, and they gave him $740 in super thanks in support of his changes. This isn't grief, this is validation. But this time, it wasn't about loss, and it wasn't about conflict. It was about support. And this is where the model evolves from grief-based giving to loyalty-based validation. And now you are starting to understand how human emotion drives money in phases. So the spikes never disappeared. They just changed. From grief to reaction, and from sympathy to alignment. And so, this isn't just a revenue story. It's a behavior story. And the question isn't just how much was made, it's why did people give at all? And what triggers that response? And this is just one layer. In the next video, we go deeper. We uncover hidden funding sources. And we break down the role of the ask and how giving is reinforced over time. Because it's not just that people give, it's how they're asked. And once you see that, well, you won't be able to look at this the same. Thanks for being with me and watching my videos. I look forward to seeing you in the next. The financial impact of having terminal cancer is often described by researchers as being as disastrous and as destructive to a family's finances as the cancer is to one's body. While terminal cancer typically serves as a wealth-stripping event for many cancer victims and their families, the financial trajectory of the Apples channel represents a rare total inversion of that standard. So how did one channel turn this disaster into more than a $500,000 win? I'm analyzing the creator economy of the Apples YouTube channel. You won't want to miss what I discover. My most recent video is just the tip of the iceberg. What if I told you that everything that you can see on YouTube is only part of the story? Because after I finished my last video, where we tracked super thanks and AdSense and public donations, I realized something that completely changed how I look at all of this. The biggest part of this story appears never meant to be visible at all. And when you start connecting those dots, when you stop looking at just the surface level numbers, you don't just see revenue, you see a system. A multi-layered system of support built across PayPal, Venmo, Amazon wishlist, P.O. boxes, subscriptions, and even entirely off-platform income streams. And today, we're going to break that system down step by step and layer by layer. But I need you to stay with me, because towards the end of the video, I will be showing the total estimated financial ecosystem. And when you see that number, it changes how you see everything. In the last video, we followed money inside the YouTube system. Today, we're going to look outside of YouTube. Now, before we get to any numbers, you need to understand something critical. Platforms like PayPal and Venmo are private. There is no public ledger. There is no badge. There is no visible transaction amount. which means you cannot track these the same way that you track super chats or super thanks. So instead, what analysts use is something called forensic proxy modeling. And what that means is that you don't track the money directly. You track the behavior around it. How the estimation model really works. There are 4 core methods used to estimate private donations. The first one is known as social proof scraping. This means analyzing comment sections for intent to donate language. Examples include, I sent something to your Venmo, or check your PayPal, or coffee on me. Now here is one key insight. For every one person that publicly comments that they donated, research suggests that there are typically 3 to 5 times more silent donors. So those visible comments that you've probably seen on his videos, they're not the end all. They are just a signal. They are just an indicator, a minimum indicator. The second core method used to estimate private donations is a call to action placement. Where donation links are placed matters. When PayPal or Venmo links move from the bottom of a description to the top line or a pinned comment, that signals something very specific. It indicates that this is a high conversion revenue stream. 3. The diversion effect. YouTube takes approximately 30% of Super Chat revenue. So, what happens? Supporters who want to maximize their contribution move to PayPal or Venmo, where the creator receives nearly 100%. This creates a direct relationship. As super chats increase, private donations often increase alongside them. 4. The lifestyle gap analysis. This is where everything connects. You compare known income, AdSense and Super Chats against visible spending, and when spending exceeds known income, that gap is typically explained by private donations, wish list purchases, and physical gifts. Using all of these methods together, we can estimate private donation activity over time. During the peak emotional window from November 2023 through January 2024, Super Chats were estimated at $45,000. Applying forensic modeling, private donations during that same period are estimated between $9,000 and $15,000. This includes donations to PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, or other. So why are private donations so powerful? They are not tracked by YouTube. They never show up in analytics. 100% of them go to the content creator. No platform fees, no cuts, full support. They come from a high trust community. Fans give directly because they believe in the mission. And finally, they provide a consistent monthly flow, which creates a stable, reliable foundation of support. Now, expanding this across the full timeline, we get the following estimates. $82,000 to $121,000, a total estimate on the conservative side. Now, let's zoom out and combine all major streams. GoFundMe, $248,000. PayPal, Venmo, approximately $105,000. YouTube Super Features, $45,000. YouTube AdSense, $35,000. Bringing the Apple's channel to a total estimated $433,000 plus. But cash, it's only part of the story because there's also materials support. The Amazon wish list alone is estimated at $35,000 in goods, household upgrades, electronics and tech, children's items, and lifestyle infrastructure. Now, these are not counted as income, but they do reduce expenses and increase overall financial position. Then we have the P.O. Box. At peak, 40 to 60 packages per week, with an estimated total value of $20,000 to $30,000. This is what analysts call the gifting loop. 1. A gift is opened on camera. 2. Emotional response is shared. 3. Viewers feel inspired to give, and the cycle repeats. Now, one of the most overlooked pieces in all of this is the hidden support systems. Kyle's co-workers were so generous that they actually came together to donate sick leave to Kyle so that he could be there to support Jenny. The donated salary through sick leave is estimated at $150,000 to $200,000. Sick leave covered nearly 2 years of time for Kyle. Instagram subscriptions, $15,000 to $30,000 estimated. Public speaking, $5,000 to $10,000 estimated. Stay with me a few minutes more because I'm about to announce the total value of the Apple's channel ecosystem. Now, I want to be very clear. This analysis uses modeling. There are margins of error, and this does not imply wrongdoing. What it shows is a pattern of multi-layered support. And when you step back, this was never just one stream of income. It was an entire ecosystem. Some visible, some hidden, but all connected. This cancer video diary, this journey where Jenny shared the hardest moments that she faced in her life battling cancer while being a young mom to 2 children. When you add up all the different parts of this channel ecosystem, the total amount generated in funding for this channel is approximately $595,000, not including the donated salary. While many families facing terminal illness experience significant financial strain, publicly available data suggests that this channel developed multiple streams of financial support during that same period. Based on visible platform features, donation tools, and estimated revenue models, the channel appears to have generated substantial cumulative income across several sources. These figures are estimates based on publicly observable activity and industry benchmarks, not private financial records. What this reflects is not a confirmed net worth, but a shift in the scale and structure of financial support surrounding the channel over time. And in the next video, we're going even deeper into the psychology of the ask, language of donation triggers, and how these systems continue evolving, because this story, we are not done uncovering it.